Aloha, everybody. It was another solid follow through to Thursday's strong price action. Nothing great. Volume was lower than the day before, so none of the indexes had a clear accumulation day. And our oscillators on the NASDAQ, TSV, and MACD are still slightly trending lower, just like RSI just had a brain fart there in stochastics, but overall you can see on the short term there is a slight move up in those indicators, and the Russell 2000 shows the same similar situation. Overall downtrend, intermediate term, short term uptrending, and the Russell 2000 mightily retook the 50-day moving average today, and that meant another half of my TZA position went off whenever it moved below 990. So now what I'm even doing now is that I still have that last sell stop on TZA at 945. I am now splitting that in half to 945 for half of what's left and 976 for the other half. So a move below today's low of days, since the volume is well below average, or well above average and below the 50-day moving average, the price. Now we can split it up half and half. I don't need to wait till it gets all the way down to 945 to know I'm wrong. If it starts to move below 977, that'll be a nice confirmation of the Russell 2000 retake of the 50-day moving average. The Dow Jones Transportation Average is retaking the 200-day moving average today. It needs to retake that 50-day moving average for me to get too excited. It too overall has downtrending intermediate term oscillators, so nothing's turned up higher yet. The Dow Jones Industrial Average breaking out to a new all-time closing high. Short term, you can see the oscillators are starting to trend higher, and RSI intermediate terms even trending higher. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is switching from a neutral operational condition to a buy operational condition following today's gains. The Nasdaq 100 continues to lag new all-time highs. RSI, MACD, TSV, stochastics all look the exact same on all of these indexes, so we just go ahead and stay patient. S&P 500 still hitting new all-time highs, looking good. New York Stock Exchange didn't go anywhere today, but is still at new all-time highs. So Dow Jones Industrial Average, NYSE, S&P 500, good to go. For sells, besides TZA, only one speculative position gave a full sell signal. GENE moving below 425, got out at 424, closing at 417, excuse me. On an end-of-day basis, that is a full sell. And then SPLK is whatever, however you want to handle it, it's up to you, but here's how I'm handling it. My final cut loss level was 66.10. In hindsight, I should have halved it at 67.38 and half at 66.10. Had I done 67.38, I would have been proud of myself because it closed at 67.03. But here's where I can kind of get the middle, and I hope I don't get shaken out. But if I do, I do. I don't care. There's too many good-looking stocks to care about something like this, considering on a day like today I only had a handful of stocks down, and SPLK was one of them. If SPLK moves below 66.70, today's low of day of Monday session, I'm out. No questions asked. So I'm moving my final sell stop from 66.10 to 66.70. So I'll move below 66.70, and I'm all out of SPLK. What you guys can do if you're just doing an end-of-day basis thing, which I don't recommend in this market because of the way that stocks move flash crashy, like whenever they miss earnings or decide to sell off, whatever. I would go ahead and sell 50% here with the close below the low a day of our signal date, 67.39, and then hold the other half to a close below 66.10 to know for a fact you're wrong on this signal. And then besides that, just to prove that this market's strong, EPAM got shaken out of all of that. That's giving me a buyback position. In my cash account, there's nothing I can do. After today, I'm completely fully invested, but just wanted to show you how strong this market is. Do you guys remember SCOR being completely stopped out of that? Interesting, huh? And how about SSNC? Remember being completely stopped out of that? All these are perfect speculator stocks, and so it's no surprise that they continue to move higher. Do you all remember CNC? Once again, no surprise it's moving higher. And AVGO, I kept too tight of a stop here, and because of the big move below the 50-day moving average, I decided to get out of half of the position with the move below that low day at 115.87. I did that on the 28th, but closed well above 115.87, and it came back, but I didn't buy it back. And at first I was like, good thing I didn't because it's failing. Well, big mistake now. Should have bought it back there. Would have been long at 122.80. It is now looking good at 130.18. So now I want to buy back that partial sell position but I'm out of cash. So AVGO, you could buy it back. EPAM, whatever you got shaken out of with that big sell-off, you could buy back. CNC is a buyback. SSNC is technically a buyback. And SCOR is just giving us a middle finger. So stocks continue to do well, and that's why it should be no surprising that we have 3 new long signals, high-quality ones. ADPT is producing an actionable signal. It's had Max Green BOP for 5 days in a row, so not only was it in my CanSlim quality stock scan, it was confirmed in my Max Green BOP for 5 days scan. So 3.5% position into ADPT. Cash account, like I said, can't do it. Already fully invested, basically, so got to do what I got to do. But 3.5% position if you're not fully invested. ADPT, very, very low risk. My final sell stop is going to be below 64.55, so we don't risk much at all. If we're wait, that cannot be right. What I just said out loud. How about 61.10? 61.10 is my final sell stop if ADPT does not move higher immediately. But it's a good looking overall stock from its IPO, and as you can see, it's just trended higher the entire time. Big earnings and sales growth lately. And then CRI. This came close to being confirmed in my price volume BOP scan. It is only a few thousand shares away of qualifying for that scan. To me, that's good enough. Whenever I saw it, I was like, okay, it's going to qualify for the scan with that volume surge. When I went through my price volume BOP scan, it wasn't in there. So then I went to go check, and I can see that it missed it by a couple of thousand shares of being qualified. So I'm going to go ahead and count it, but because it actually wasn't in there, it's only a 2.5% long position in CRI. But CRI, nice move today with a pocket pivot point buy signal, strong volume, and green BOP. Very, very nice. And then BMRN, just like UTHR, which I'm not buying, just like CNC, which I could be adding back, but I'm not because I don't have the money, and just like MNK, which is a perfect speculator scan quality, CanSlim stock also, BMRN is also bouncing off the 50-day moving average and breaking out above recent resistance levels, going back to actually all throughout April. It's breaking above the April resistance levels. CNC isn't quite doing that, but that's good enough. UTHR, same similar situation. MNK was also doing it, but not quite at the same level. As you can see, it's still below the April highs. So BMRN is actually breaking out above those April levels and is producing a pocket pivot point signal. That's why this one is being taken instead of CNC, UTHR, MNK. So BMRN, it's a 2.5% long signal for being a perfect speculator scan quality stock. It's only like 58 stocks. This is one of them. It was not confirmed anywhere else, so 2.5%. And then SRNE, beautiful stock, first showed up in the new 52-week high scan. It caught my interest, and I was like, if this shows up in the price volume BOP scan, I am definitely going long. This is an earnings winner with an immediate confirmation on extremely strong volume with the close near the high day, with it holding Max Green BOP. It was confirmed in the price volume BOP scan. So 1% speculative position in SRNE. You can make it more if you want, but we risk at least 10% before we know we are actually wrong on this position. So I recommend keeping it small.